Unless otherwise indicated, Ratchet Book Club is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is greatly advised. Welcome to Ratchet Book Club, where we read hood classics and good classics. I'm Derek. Um, we're still reading The Coldest Winter Ever, and I just want to stop right now and say that somebody uh, in a group that I'm in on Facebook, somebody was mentioning that it seems like Sister Soulja doesn't truly like black people. And I don't know what the impetus was of that statement. If it was that she didn't like black folks from the hood, or if she didn't like drug dealers, which is obvious. I mean, who would if they had the opportunity to write a book like this and they were writing it from the ideal of drug dealers don't win? I mean, it isn't like at some point in this book she was just going to pop and be like, but drug dealers are okay. This isn't, punk ass Orange Menace where they see bad on both sides or good on both sides, whatever it may be. The drug dealers are wrong. But I don't see it. I don't see Sister Soulja having any sort of an issue with the black folks in this book. I think she's writing Winter as close to a teenager as I can fathom. And I think that she is writing. At first, I wondered how old, I still do wonder how old Santiago is. Because I think the way that he's handling things is the best that he can in the situation he's in as a drug kingpin. But he's young. Her mom, as we already know, is young. And so Winter, what I'm thinking is if Santiago was 18 and Winter's mom was 14 when Winter was born, and Winter is now 16, then that makes Santiago 34. And that makes Winter's mom 30. I just don't see the knowledge or logic that you really need in this game to be absorbed by them in order to go about life. And I know that sounds weird to say. It sounds weird for it to come out of my mouth, but I don't think that if you are that young having children and you're in the dope game, I don't think that that is a place for growth opportunities. I don't know. In the last episode, what we talked about was that everything went to hell. Winter decided to go out to a party, her own birthday party. She borrowed her mom's red Benz and went to Brooklyn, even though her mom and dad told her not to. She went to Manhattan to meet up with Natalie, Slick Kid, and Bullet. He ain't Little Bullet anymore. He's just Bullet. And they went to the Hyatt because that's fancy. And they got buffalo wings and drinks and played dominoes and fucked. And then she had told her parents that she was going to a party at a university nearby. And so her parents, while they're at home, the cops run up in the spot because cops watch drug dealers, especially kingpins. No matter where you go, you still got a target on your back. And they bust into the spot as soon as Winter leaves, essentially. And her mom sends Midnight to the college to look for Winter, and it turns out that Winter wasn't at the college. So Winter lied to her parents about where she was going and what she was doing, and she felt real guilty about that. But she felt even worse that her dad was locked up. I don't know if she felt bad for her family or if she felt bad for herself because her money was drying up. But right now they're in a panic because their dad is locked up. Plus, everybody that worked for Santiago is calling like, yo, my husband, son, father, whomever is locked up, and Santiago needs to get off his ass and get my folks out of prison with the hurry upness. And that's pretty much where we left off, with her mom being just down and out. Not down and out, but she is pretty much in shock. And Winter is trying to take charge and talking on the phone and telling everybody what's going on and stuff like that. That's as far as we got with her taking charge. But if y'all have any thoughts, the voicemail number is 916-633-1537. You can leave a review by going to ratemypodcast /RBC, or you can go wherever you listen to the podcast at and leave 5 stars. You can email us at wretchedandrachet@gmail.com. With that said, here's chapter 6. Monday morning, we were all up early and dressed. There was no doubt that we would support Santiago at his arraignment. We would show those motherfuckers that family sticks together. My mother put the girls in the back of her car and took the passenger seat. As I started to back the Benz up, I saw flashing lights moving up our driveway. A cop on the loudspeaker said, "Turn off the ignition." I weighed my options. I wanted to floor the gas pedal, ram the police, and then pull out to go handle my business. But my little sisters were in the car, so I turned the ignition off. "Get out of the car! Everybody step out of the car! Move away from the car!" The police signaled the vehicle behind him. It was a police department tow truck. The officer walked up to my mother and handed her a piece of paper. "We are authorized to remove this vehicle, which is now government property." Motherfuckers. This is my car. How the hell you gonna come and take my car?" Angry tears shot out of my eyes. "You don't have the right to take people's shit." I went buck wild cussing them assholes out. I pushed the car door open, jumped out and started swinging my fists in the air. Ma'am, calm down, ma'am. Now listen, here's how it works. We're going to take this car right now, right here, today, this minute. We're authorized to do so. You go downtown. If you can verify the source of your income and prove that you personally purchased the vehicle, then you can get it back. We hold it for 60 days, and if you can't prove it, we'll sell it at the auction. All merchandise purchased with illegal monies by criminal activity are subject to seizure. Mama thumbed hysterically through the yellow pages trying to locate a cab that would come around our way. It took an hour to strike a deal with the somewhat local cabbie to drive us into the city. I paid $100 to get into the city. Money was going fast. By the time we got to the court, we had missed Santiago. I called the lawyer's office. His secretary said the lawyer must be on his way back to his office because he was there at the court to represent Santiago earlier today. I hung up the phone without verbally acknowledging her words. It took damn near all day just to get back to our house on public transportation. Then we had to walk 3 miles to get from the train station to our safety house. Tears didn't have no place in this situation. What would Santiago do, I asked myself. He would think, plan, and not panic. Alright, it seemed to me that we needed to have one big sale to get rid of all this shit in this house and get some money. I never liked it here anyway. We could move back into the city and get an apartment or something. I started pacing around the house, randomly pricing things in my head. Who would we sell this stuff to? We didn't know nobody around here. We would straight up have to put an ad in the paper, hang up garage sale signs and directions to our house. Let these folk come pick over it and pay way less than they normally would pay in the store. I found Mama in her room. She had busted open a new pack of cigarettes and was going at it. "What you think about a sale?" I asked her. "We sell all this stuff in the house to generate some cash flow." "I want to talk to your father," she said. "Seriously, Mama, what do you say?" "I want to see what your father says. Whatever he says to do, that's what I'll do." But Mommy, we gotta make plans like Santiago ain't here, 'cause he's not. You trying to say he ain't coming back? She asked like a crazed woman. No. I'm trying to say that maybe if we put our heads together, we can have some plans ready for Santiago. We can go see him tomorrow. I'll know by the morning time exactly where he is. The idea of seeing Santiago delighted Mommy, who was starting to seem like an imposter to me. What we gonna do with the kids? They too much trouble to be trying to walk and travel back and forth with, she asked, worried about everything. Magdalena will watch them, I told her. Oh, you think so? Lately, she been acting kind of funny, Mama said. At 9 o'clock the next morning, I was on the phone line trying to locate Santiago. I slid Magdalena an extra $20 and told her to babysit while me and Mommy took care of some business. She looked like she thought about rolling her eyes at me. She put the extra money in her pocket. We found out which jail Santiago was being held at. Then we went to find out the cost of bail so we could put the money together somehow. The court clerk smirked when he punched in the case numbers for Santiago on his computer. With some strange look of pleasure, he pronounced, "The judge has denied bail because of the extremity of the charges. He'll be sent out to Rikers on Thursday, and you can visit him there." My mother's face saddened with disappointment. As we turned to walk away, her tears started flowing. When we got home, Magdalena complained about the phone ringing, ringing, ringing. We thanked her for her patience and sent her home for the evening. The good thing was that in 2 days we'll be able to talk to Santiago. He would help us decide how to move. My mom was still trying to put things together. I asked my mom whose name the house was in and if it was a monthly cost or if it was paid for in full. She told me that it was paid for because that's how Santiago does things, but she never saw the paperwork because it wasn't her concern. This time when I picked up the telephone, it was Natalie. "Girl, what's going on? It's like a ghost town over here in BK." Everybody's getting locked up, I thought to myself. Whoever heard of a person who just starts talking before she even says hello, before she's even sure she's talking to the right person? "Who got knocked?" I asked, playing it off. She rattled off a list of familiar names, Daddy's workers, bodyguards, and all of my uncles. Then she said, "I heard Midnight got picked up earlier tonight." "Get the fuck out of here," I said, almost mumbling. "Yep. A just saw the cops cuffing him in front of Moe's bar." I wondered if Natalie had heard about Santiago and she was just waiting for me to say something. "Yeah, Bullet told me about Midnight too," Natalie said. "How's Bullet doing?" I asked. "He aight. His girl just had a baby. It's a boy. 8 pounds 6 ounces. Big, huh?" "His girl? Natalie, you didn't tell me he had a girl." "Like you would have cared. Don't try and get new on me, Winter." "That's not the point. I'm just saying you're supposed to have my back. You're supposed to let me know what's going on." "Yeah, I'm supposed to fill you in like you be filling me in, right?" Natalie said, getting loud with me. I didn't really have time for Natalie's attention game, so I told her I had to go. "The policia," Magdalena said, peeking her head into my room without knocking on the bedroom door. "Your mother is in the shower." I jumped up, threw on some pants and a shirt, and headed downstairs. "Good morning, ma'am. We'd like to speak to Miss Santiago, please. We want to ask her some questions." I put my hands on my hips and asked if they had a warrant. As soon as they said no, I got ready to say Mama's not home. Then Mama came out of nowhere, wrapped in a towel. Her hair was wet, her eyes wild, and her mouth twisted. "What is it now?" she asked. "We want to ask you some questions." "Do you have a warrant?" "No, ma'am." "Then get the fuck out of my house. I've had enough of you all for 1 week." "Ma'am, we just wanted to ask you some questions about your husband. Under the RICO law, you could also be charged if you were aware of or in any way connected to the distribution of narcotics. We would like you to cooperate with us. It'll be better for you." "Get the fuck out!" she yelled. "Do you see a lawyer in here? How you gonna ask me some questions without my lawyer present? Do I look like a fool to you?" "You're right. You're entitled to have a lawyer present," his partner chimed in. "But you know we could easily get a warrant under these circumstances, ma'am. Or you could just cooperate. Winter, Mama commanded, close the damn door. Mama was renewed on Thursday morning. She picked out her best outfit and was going to take Santiago by storm at Rikers Island. She asked me to help her with her makeup. I tried to make the best of the situation and put it on as nicely as I could. I brushed her hair back and used the same wig that worked for her the day we went shopping. Mama pulled out her perfume, the expensive shit that was thick like syrup. She dabbed it on in a small amount. When you have the good stuff, she once told me, you don't have to pile it on. She looked fine, at least compared to the last few days when she let herself go in a way I had never seen before. She handed me the Visine. I dropped 2 drops in each of her eyes. I reminded her to take off her heels, put them in her pocketbook, and wear flat shoes since we had to walk to the bus stop. She protested. We should take a cab to Rikers, she said. We should really save our money, because we're running low, I warned. We'll save it for some other day. Today, we're going to see Santiago. Yes, we have a warrant and we're going to run you down for questioning, announced the same cops from yesterday. They arrived when me and Mama were leaving. As we opened the door to go see Daddy, we were confronted by the 2 cops. Am I under arrest? My mother asked sarcastically. If that's what we need to have a civil conversation with you. Mama handed me her pocketbook. Unwilling to cooperate with the police, she stuck out her wrist as if to say, take me. The police read Mama her rights, cuffed her, and put her in the car. Magdalena and the girls watched in horror from the kitchen. I stood there shocked and watched them take my mother away. On the way out, the smart-ass cop's partner paused, turned around, and hollered at me standing in the doorway. By the way, how old are you? 17, my sister Portia blurted out. And where are you taking my mother? How about you, little girl? How old are you? 8, she said, snotty and proud. Their lights flashed as they sped away. I took out a 20, handed it to Magdalena, collected my things, and made fast tracks in my Nikes towards the bus stop. Santiago walked into the room accompanied by a corrections officer. His body was tight and his face was serious. He still maintained his powerful presence. He had a way of looking good, even though those gel greens that hung on him like a leisure suit. I smiled when I saw him, and he smiled back. Where's your mother? Downstairs? He asked. No, she wasn't feeling good. She had to take 2 of those pills, and they knocked her out cold. You know, only something that dramatic could keep her away. I had practiced this answer the whole trip to Rikers, because there was no sense in adding to Santiago's problems. And my girls? They're fine. You know they miss you and all, but they're tough. They'll do all right. Maybe. He smiled. Portia has 7 years in the project under her belt, so she's tough. Mercedes and Lexi, no, they've been sheltered. They straight up suburban kids. I laughed, but I wanted to hurry on to the business. Daddy, tomorrow I'm going to see your lawyer. I'm going to find out everything. What do you need me to tell him? I've been talking to him on the phone every chance I get, he said. He'll want to talk money. He don't have to worry about that, though. I got money. Daddy, they raided the safe at the house. They took $150,000. He held up his hand to keep me from talking. Just get a hold of Midnight. He's got $50 of mine. I was sure that this was to cover $50,000. He'll take care of everything. Just let him know that I said it's time. Daddy, somebody said Midnight got picked up too. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard. Daddy's eyebrows knitted together as if Midnight's arrest was somehow not what he had planned for. After a short pause, he said, He'll be out soon. They got nothing on him. He's clean. I kept him that way. Just chill and wait for him. He'll come through. He always does. Meanwhile, tell Goldstein I said, use the key. That'll be a deposit on his fee. Daddy, Uncle Steve got picked up. And Harry, Van, and Ron. I know. I've seen them all. Rodriguez, Pizzazz, they're all in here. It's like being at home. He smiled, I'm sure more for my benefit than anything. They just trying to shake my niggas up. Scare somebody till they sing. You know what I mean. I'm alright, Winter. Don't worry about me. It's Mommy you gotta look after. After that bullet, she's delicate. She don't know it, but she is. About the house, Santiago. I think we should sell it. You know, so we'll have some money flow. I like your mind, he said. Tell Goldstein. Tell him I said sell it. Winter, you gotta be tough. It's time. Remember everything I taught you. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Follow the directions I gave you to the letter and just play your hand close to your chest. We said that last line together. I had heard it so many times. I had never really thought about how important it was, but it was sinking in now. Tell your mother I want to see her 1 week from today on Thursday. Tell her I said pull herself together and get down here on Thursday in her best shit so I could show her off. Magdalena had her stuff packed and at the door when I reached home. Her face was serious and fed up. What's up? That's it. She rubbed her hands together. Finished. What is it? You want more money? I asked her. I'll give you more money. I was going to pay you tomorrow. That's Friday. Payday. Hell, I tipped you every day this week. It's not the money, Miss Winter. But I do need my pay for up until today. Magdalena, I pleaded. Come on, girl, you know I need you. My father's gone. My mother's gone. It's just me and the kids. If you leave me, I won't have nobody to help me with the kids. Magdalena busted out crying. There is no kids. Her words hit me one by one, each word in slow motion. No kids? I lost my composure. The tears burst out. No kids? What the fuck do you mean, Magdalena? I grabbed her, shaking her shoulders uncontrollably. Where are my sisters? What the fuck do you mean, no kids? Huh? 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 The BCW people came and said they were sent by the police. They said they had to take the kids because there's no adult in the house. What are you talking about, Magdalena? You're an adult! But, Miss Winter, I had to tell them I'm no responsible. I had to leave at 7 p.m. this evening. They had the papers from the government. They took them. I'm sorry, she cried. Then the horn honked, the signal from her son who picked her up every night in that raggedy 1970-something car. As she held her hand out to be paid, I yelled, You bitch! You couldn't cover for me? You couldn't just cover for me? My voice echoed in the middle of this huge empty house. I ain't giving you shit! I screamed, throwing a vase at her as she rushed out the door. Every step I took around the house sounded like it was magnified by a microphone. I could hear my own heart beating in my chest and in my ears. I started hearing shit I never heard before. Noises and heating systems and water dripping. I was stranded without a ride, without a family member. I was out in the fucking woods. Just then, Sterling, my old sugar daddy, became the most important person in the world. I ran upstairs, pulled my jewelry box out, looked for his number, and called him. I had to calm down first. The worst thing I could do was make Sterling think I needed him. Then he would try and turn the tables. Sterling, this is me, Winter. It's funny how you just came to my mind. I was hitting her by the fire with my panties on, and I thought, damn, I miss Sterling. Do you think you want to see me? 'Cause I definitely want to see you. Winter, he said apologetically. I have company right now. A tear dropped from my eye. I cleared my throat to bring the strength back into my voice. Who's there with you? He answered with silence. Is she better than me, Sterling? You know how good I can make you feel, and I'm really needing you tonight, right now. Okay, he said. Give me a couple hours. I'll pick you up at 11. I packed my overnight bag. My money was running low, so I dropped my diamond bracelet, earrings, and necklace in my bag too. If needed, that was as good as money for me. I ran around the house turning on all the lights, TVs, and radios to convince myself I wasn't alone until my ride came. If I fucked Sterling that night, I didn't know it. It didn't matter. My mind was on vacation. Apparently, Sterling was so stupid that just my sweet face was enough to make him do whatever I wanted. The next day, I convinced him to let me drop him at work and use his car. I promised to pick him up later that night. The idea of him seeing me 2 nights in a row was enough bait for him. I putt-putted in the car back to the house in Long Island, hoping that my mother would be released and I could meet up with her. At some point, she figured out she had to cooperate, even if all she said was, I don't know. Then they would release her. Hell, she was completely innocent. I hated to think of her in jail, especially with her being so fragile. Since when does spending your husband's money become a crime? If it were, more than half of all the women in the whole country would be locked down. If she wasn't at the house by the time I got there, I'd swing by the precinct. The way I figured, they'd just try and shake her up. Try and get her to give evidence against Santiago, which she'd never do. I'd pick up my mom's. Then we'd track down the girls. The driveway to my house was blocked off. It wasn't a regular police car, the kind with the sirens. It was one of them cars like the DT drives, undercover. I pulled to the side of the road. I climbed the winding driveway leading up to our home. Excuse me, officer. This is my house and... This house and all the belongings inside are now the property of the federal government. No one is allowed on the property unless he is an agent of the federal government. Who are you? The FBI, he said with authority in a puffed-out chest. Explain this to me, I said carefully. How is it that you people could take people's property, steal their house, and not even allow a woman to get their clothes out or their sister's baby bottles? I was going for sympathy. I had no wind running up against the Glock. In America, miss, all material items purchased with illegal money made from illegal actions and transactions are subject to seizure. Now, if you want something in there, all you gotta do is bring some pay stubs from your job and prove that you have a legitimate occupation. If those items inside the house are within the boundaries of your earnings and you can prove it to the judge, you can get them back. You can pick up the necessary paperwork from the precinct or have your lawyer call us up and we'll send it to you. I wanted to spit in his face, but for now it wouldn't be smart. The only thing to do now was to go straight to Santiago's lawyer. Otherwise, all these cocksuckers will give me this official talk and send me away empty-handed. I would get the lawyer involved on my mother's behalf as well. As the car maxed out at 60 miles per hour, my mind calculated the value of everything in my bedroom. Jewelry, clothes, shoes, electronics, TV, etc. Hats off to the motherfucking police, I thought to myself. They had the best hustle in town. They were the real criminals. Goldstein's office was plush. The chairs were buttery leather, the walls walnut. The windows looked out onto the outlines of the city. I wasn't surprised. It was my father's style to be affiliated with the big-timers. I sat down in the big chair. It was reserved for clients in position directly in front of the attorney's chair. I kept thinking that this chair was the hot seat. It got you all impressed. Then just as you started to feel all comfortable, the lawyer would demand a minimum of 10 grand just to peek at your case. So, you're Santiago's daughter. Beautiful, beautiful. He smiled like a gentleman. Where's your mother? I thought I told you to bring your mother. She's locked up. His left eyebrow raised up. He reached into the desk and grabbed one of those legal pads and listened to my whole story. He didn't interrupt me once. Only the lines on his forehead answered. Every now and then he'd scribble on the pad. Well now, you got about 5 different matters here. Your father, that's 1. Your mother, that's 2. Your sisters, that's 3. You want to look into the matter of your house, well, that's 4. The cars, that's 5. And it's going to take a lot of manpower to get this job done. I could feel him setting me up for the kill, fattening me up like a pig before the slaughter. He just wanted the bacon. Right. Santiago says use the key. He repeated my message from Santiago to himself. Then he muttered something like power of attorney. He found the paper he was looking for in the file. He smiled, told me he had to get to work on all these matters. He would use the key and let me know what else was needed. He asked for my phone number and address. Haven't you been listening? I have no address. I'll be drifting. I'll call you. By the way, he said as I was stepping out of the door, how old are you? 17. Why? Because my best bet is that the Bureau of Child Welfare will be looking to pick you up as well. I could take care of myself. Yes, but according to the law, the state is your temporary guardian until you turn 18 years old. You are a minor. Not to worry, he said, smiling again. We'll just need to get a hold of your mother to get around this mess. My office will be the meeting point. When I get your mother, I'll bring her here. Or at least you could check in periodically with one of my secretaries, and they'll be able to tell you where to meet her. I don't understand why her mom went out of her way to get locked up. Like, okay, I know that you're upset and all that kind of stuff, but see, that's just that shit. I don't know. Like, this is a drab ass chapter. This is a sad chapter. Kids are gone. Magdalena, I felt worse for Magdalena in this whole chapter because she's just being handed money. And it's like, bitch, all I'm supposed to do is come and clean up y'all shit. The first time I came over, the house was all fucked up. Second time I came over, your daddy was gone. Third time I came over, your mama got sent up. Fourth time I came over, the kids got taken. They said they was coming for me next. Oh, that's my son out there in a 1970 Civic. I'm out. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Pay me. Can you pay me? Can you pay me? Y'all getting mad like she's supposed to be the babysitter. Like, what kind of jobs? Have y'all ever had a job? I don't think they've ever had a job. It's wild telling somebody what their job should be when you've never had a job, but I think that's it right there. I think that I know Winter's never had a job, but I don't think her mom's ever worked before. Like, her job has been spending other people's money. Spending Santiago's money. So, it is what it is, I suppose. Apparently, like, everybody should know by now that Santiago's locked up. It shouldn't be a secret. I mean, Natalie was getting mad because she said that Winter was holding out secrets on her, but shit, it should be all the way through the hood. If you're waiting for her to confirm it, she ain't gonna do that because she thinks she's doing the sticking to the G code by not telling you. But I mean, if every single one of his niggas are in jail with him and they're calling home to speak to their folks, then you know what? Their folks know that Santiago's locked up because Santiago ain't gonna save him because Santiago's locked up. That's how that conversation would go. Well, why ain't Santiago getting you out of jail? Because Santiago's on phone number 2 right now and I'm on phone number 3. That's why. I mean, I don't know. She better run. She ain't gonna. I don't know. When you get to the point, and I'm glad I hope Sterling got somebody his own age. Like, I know that he's a small part of this puzzle, but I wish he can get arrested too, because that nigga's a straight up pedophile. Like, that shit's nasty. He knows it's nasty. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself, you nasty bastard. But yeah, next chapter is going to be chapter 7. This one was kind of a short one, but the next one after this makes up for it. Next chapter is like a cool hour. Hit us up, 916-633-1537, Ratchet and Ratchet@gmail.com, or you can come on to Twitter and talk to us. We are at Ratchet Book Club. So Ratchet Book Club is a Twitter name. Thank y'all so much for listening and checking us out. I greatly appreciate it. Please leave a review wherever you listen to the podcast at. Yeah, that's about it. Y'all be good. I'll holler at you next time. Peace. The intro and outro to Ratchet Book Club is by That Kid Garan, and it's called Goodbyes. You can email him at tkgbeats94@gmail.com. for more information on how to lease this beat.
This is Single Simulcast.